Welcome to This Week from Blue Mountain Broadcasting. I'm Lynelle Ellis, your host, and I am so glad that you've tuned in today. On today's show, of course, I'm going to be sharing with you station news and more about the work that you're doing through Blue Mountain Broadcasting Association. And also, I'm going to be interviewing Yaacov Bergman, Maestro Yaacov Bergman, the director and conductor of the Walla Walla Symphony. So looking forward to my time with him. And let's start now with a devotional thought. You know, this week in my regular job teaching at Walla Walla University, I'm teaching the students in the Master of Arts in Cinema, Religion, and Worldview Summer Intensive. And so they are taking some classes that just happen in 2 short weeks right now. And in one of those classes that I'm teaching with them, one of their assignments is to watch the 1998 film Les Miserables. Now, Les Miserables is a powerful story of redemption, both the film and, of course, the original book that it's based upon, written by Victor Hugo. And I recently came across a wonderful little book called 52 Lessons from Les Miserables by Bob Welch. This book has, as its title says, 52 short devotional thoughts that come out of the story by Victor Hugo. And I'd like to share one chapter of this book with you today because I've been spending quite a bit of time, as you might imagine, with my students thinking about some of the powerful redemptive messages of this film. This chapter is called Knock and the Door Will Be Opened. As a recently released convict, Jean Valjean is turned away from this job and turned away from that inn. He's even turned away when he asks a jailer if he can stay for the night. The irony is that Valjean, though technically a free man, is a slave to his past. So much so that he's willing to go to jail as a means of survival. In Hugo's No Room in the Jail scene, Valjean resembles the prodigal son who became so desperate to survive that he longed to fill his stomach with the pods that the pigs were eating. Alas, no one gave him anything. Everybody has driven me away, Valjean tells a woman who takes enough pity on him to help. Have you knocked at every door? She asks. Yes, he says. Have you knocked at that one there? No. Knock there. Because of that door, the bishop's door, what he finds isn't just a hot meal, a glass of wine, and a warm bed. What he finds is life, grace, God. Better yet, God finds him. And not with the suspicion of Inspector Javert. Not with the unreachable, you must be this tall to enjoy the ride standards, but with the open arms of a Father of grace welcoming home the prodigal son. In a material world where we're honored for what we look like and what we own and how high we score on the SAT, God looks deeper. The Lord does not look at the things people look at, says 1 Samuel 16:7. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Like Javert, we can look completely put together, fully in control, totally committed to a noble cause. Our addictions make us cling to what the world proclaims as the keys to self-fulfillment: accumulation of wealth and power, attainment of status and admiration, lavish consumption of food and drink, and sexual gratification without distinguishing between lust and love, says Henry J.M. Nouwen. These addictions create expectations that cannot but fail to satisfy our deepest needs. I am the prodigal son every time I search for unconditional love where it cannot be found. So, we stumble in the dark, clinging to blind pride to prove ourselves right, until desperate, we knock. Then, as Matthew 7:7-8 says, everything changes. Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives, the one who seeks finds, and the one who knocks, for him the door will be opened. Stay tuned. I'll be right back. Welcome back. Now we're going to take a look at an interview with Maestro Yaacov Bergman from the Walla Walla Symphony that I recorded on Zoom, since Maestro Bergman is presently in New York City. We'll look at this Zoom interview that was recorded earlier today. Maestro Bergman, it's so good to be talking with you from New York. That's where you are, yes?
Pleasure to meet with you, and pleasure to talk with you, and pleasure to chat with you on Zoom. Yes, I am in New York.
Excellent. And you are the director and conductor for the Walla Walla Symphony here in the Walla Walla Valley. And many of our viewers are very familiar with you, I'm sure, and the work that the symphony does here in our community. But maybe you could give a little bit more description of your work with our local symphony.
My position as music director is basically creating a concert season, to begin with, by selecting repertoire, preparing the orchestra, rehearsing the orchestra, hiring players, hiring soloists. In other words, creating the menu, the season menu, which obviously it's a complex combination. It's like being a chef. Yeah, and obviously you want to create an interesting meal. So it's not just the old music or the same old music, but it's also new music, music of different forms, different nationalities, different characters, different affiliations, So that's basically the artistic part of my duty. And then, of course, you have to work with the organization closely. You have to be involved with fundraising. You have to be part of the outreach to the community, if it's social or educational, and really represent the orchestra in many ways. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's a wonderful job that, to some extent, some of the facets of the job, the experience or being in the job is really what teaches you how to do it. Yeah.
And you've been with Walla Walla Symphony for many years. How many?
Next year would be my 35th.
Very good.
Actually, Sarah, sorry, my next year will be my 34th.
34th. So you're coming up on a 35th anniversary pretty soon.
Yeah.
Now, things have been really different for all musicians during the COVID-19 pandemic, and certainly different for the Walla Walla Symphony. Can you tell us about what has been going on for the symphony during this time?
Look, like most orchestras, we had to cancel our last concert, which was a big deal. It was one of those magnificent, glorious programs that not just the audience, but the musicians themselves were looking forward for, too. And it's a very strange reality. Yeah. We had to cancel a portion of the season. We had to shift into a new reality where live performances are not possible for the time being. And then we are looking right now, we're looking in ways to perform and in following social distancing regulations, obviously, in different ways, by streaming. And we are basically working on identifying also spaces that we can practice it, that we can really, because Cornell is a wonderful place, obviously a concert hall, but it has its own limitations, and I'm not so sure it will be even available for us, considering it's part of the Whitman College, under the Whitman College policies. So it's a peculiar, kind of surreal, interesting reality that I never faced in my entire life, and I don't think the symphony ever faced it.
No,
and the symphony is not a short one; it's not a young one.
No. So what will people expect for the 2021 season for the Walla Walla Symphony?
It's going to be, as of now, we hope to start the next season around December. December 8th right now, but we hope things will work out, that we will really be able to start at least in a kind of a more reduced size orchestra. As a matter of fact, I like to joke about the fact that, which is not really funny, but I always like to add some black humor to. I've been I was presenting kind of almost eight seasons up to the Corona season, and I call it the Corona season. Unfortunately,
Yes.
but basically, I lined up 5 concerts, 5 programs next season. First will start around December, and I hope it will start in December because it's a perfect textbook program for the holiday season.
Yes.
And knowing that both colleges will not be in attendance at this time, and will not be much music available to our community, I thought it would be a very important time for the Walla Walla Symphony to jump in and to really bring some, maybe not live music in the traditional sense of the word, but at least music.
Yes.
Yeah. So I lined up 5 programs. The first one is all Baroque, call it Baroque Celebration, which will be a very small ensemble of the symphony where we involve Craig Scott and some other fantastic musicians from the community. Mainly Bach composition, the Corelli Christmas Concerto, perfect tailor-made for the holiday season program. And then the second one will be hopefully again on February 23rd. I called it Souvenirs of Strings. And again, it's only strings. Although, there will be one piece with percussion and marimba concerto. But it's a very small orchestra which will display a very interesting, varied repertoire for string orchestra mainly. The third one is Classical Meet Jazz, which will take place on March 21. Here we are bringing, for the first time, we'll bring some guest artists from the outside of the community. The world-renowned jazz clarinetist, jazz and classical clarinetist, Ken Poplowski. He was in Walla Walla a number of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he is phenomenal. Then he will do a program that really brings jazz and classical music together. Very interesting program, very stimulating program, and very upbeat program. The next concert I titled Little Night Music, which opens with the Eine kleine Nacht music, which is the English translation to that is Little Night Music by Mozart. Wonderful suite for strings, and then this program will come with a relatively larger orchestra and ensemble instrumentation, which will bring for the first time wind section. Hopefully will be allowed to. And we'll end with a Mozart symphony. The last concert of the season I titled Let Freedom Ring. It will be in celebration of Black music. And we are presenting a wonderful, wonderful piano concerto by a great Black woman, Florence Price, her name, which will be played by Karen Walwin. She is a Black pianist and a composer that actually recorded this concerto and made her doctorate and presented the whole recital of Florence Price music. The second half of the program will be the Beethoven 7th Symphony, which is a very upbeat, dancing kind of piece to really celebrate, to end the season with a celebration.
Yes.
And this whole event, this whole final concert basically will be one festival in celebration of Black music, which will involve also some lecture recital on Black composers and It's a big deal event that involves more than just the symphony. Will offer us, hopefully again, a collaborative relationship with the colleges in town.
Yes, who we hope will be operating fully at that point.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly. And that's the surreal aspect about the whole thing. You
Yes,
see,
I noticed as you talked about each one, you said hopefully, because we're learning that change is what happens these days, and it's hard to know what to expect. This program, though, all of these concerts sound so fantastic. I hope that every one of them will happen, and that our community will get to be a part of that. I wanted to ask you too, how musicians are dealing with this time. How are they finding creative ways to still make music?
you know, when you become an artist, the word creative or creativity or having to be creative, because musicians are constantly in a mode of survival. So, so you always look for ways to present yourself, and also a creative way of enriching your ideas, programmatic ideas. Yeah, we always learn in the conservatoires. We learn the standard repertoire. But the beauty about our time right now is that we have the permission to experiment and to create fusion between ideas and styles. So, and this have to do to some extent also with what the technology that's available today. Composers taking full advantage of that. This is probably the first time that performing musicians, have no choice but to dig deeply into it. And and the word streaming comes to life, become very handy. So yes, we are basically finding ourselves creating all different forms and modes of performances. Many of our musicians came with their own instrument series, displaying, performing, explaining, lecturing, showing the community what their instrument is all about, the challenges, the colors, the technical aspect. Yeah, absolutely wonderful, wonderful series that is being created by a number of Walla Walla Symphony musicians. And all of that is presented on the Facebook and website of the Symphony website.
Okay, so people can go to the website or the Facebook page and see just what you're talking about.
Yes, the
Excellent.
Walla Walla Symphony website, present all of those ideas, and you can practically click and find out about it's right there in the front. Yeah. Another idea that came recently to mind, which keeps me very busy right now, and also in a way I'm learning a new day job, is creating this series of meetings, heartfelt meetings, face to face, talking about life and about everything, showing our musicians to the community in a more personal way. It's a series of visits with different musicians for the symphony, which my wife came with the name Yaking with Yaki.
Excellent name, perfect.
So you can already watch 3 of them on the symphony website and Facebook.
Excellent.
And they are terrific. I mean, it's really getting to know our musicians from different angles, not just seeing them on stage performing.
You're right. This brings a whole nother angle to understanding music, understanding the musicians, and getting to know them better that we probably wouldn't have found the time to do if we weren't in this situation.
And it gives me a chance also personally to share with my musicians, how much I miss them, which is really, that's what it's all about. Yeah, there are moments in those visits that are very heartfelt, very touching. So in a way, I'm kind of grateful. And what I do in order to produce it, I'm learning how to use iMovie, which is an application that kind of enables you, to edit, trim,
Yes.
create a little movie. Yeah, something I've never been involved with before. So
watch out, you've been empowered with those tools now.
Yeah, but it's very interesting, and even and one of our musicians even play every day, every afternoon he plays for 10 minutes to his neighbors outside on his terrace.
Oh, that's neat.
So, it's very wonderful. Wonderful. I cannot say wonderful, but it's people find a way to express themselves.
Yes, we're finding wonderful things even in our troubles.
And it's really amazing. It's amazing how the reaction that we get from the community, how grateful they are for the music. It brings some sense of humanity to their daily existence. It's terrific.
Yes, very important. Well, we're about out of time, but I want to thank you so much for being willing to talk with me. And I found this encouraging and hopeful, and really looking forward to some great music with the Walla Walla Symphony coming up at the very end of this year and into next year. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I'm very, very grateful for your service to the community.
All right. Blessings to you. It's time now for Station News. This is an update about what you, as our faithful viewers and donors, are doing here in our local community through Blue Mountain Broadcasting. And the first thing I want to update you about is the new facility. I know that's on the top of everyone's minds, and your generous gifts that have come in and that continue to come in have provided the way for our tower to go up, and now we're working on a fence to go around the tower to keep it protected and to keep it safe for those who may be around in the area. And also, your gifts are contributing toward the internet coming to our new facility. And that's the first aspect that we're working on with our new tower, so that we can have internet at the new facility, which is really required for us to work on all further projects as we bring equipment over and that sort of thing. But before we can bring equipment to the new place, there's some renovations that have to take place within. We're also working on the very last stages of the blueprints for those. And we invite your prayers, and certainly we need your continued gifts toward this project. We move forward as we have the funds available and in hand. So your gifts right now are absolutely essential for moving forward with this project. And also, I want to update you about Secret Life of the Forest. And yes, I mean forest, even though that show's been on Blue Mountain Television for a while. We are really excited to be partnering with the Blue Mountain Land Trust in making this whole show, all of the episodes, available online with the online premiere, which is coming up September 21. So you'll want to be watching for that. And we know that the Blue Mountain Land Trust is putting the word out in our community, and we're really, really pleased to be partnering with them on this online premiere of a really special show for Blue Mountain Broadcasting Association. And also, I wanted to tell you that we're really excited because right now, in fact, tomorrow, Daniel Biggs, our production manager, is going to be out capturing the stories, the testimonies of a number of our viewers who want to share with them what God has done in their lives. And if you have a story to share and you want to tell us about it at Blue Mountain Television, please do so. You can always give us a call with that. But we're really excited because we're going to be able to share these stories that the individuals are sharing with us with you in November during our fall fundraiser time. And we'll, of course, be sharing more information about that with you as we get closer to November. So lots of exciting things happening with Blue Mountain Broadcasting Association, with Blue Mountain Television, with our online stream, our Roku channel, our YouTube channel, and all of the things that we are involved in getting the word out to our community about how good God is, how much He loves us and His beautiful character, and also sharing with you the stories of what's happening in our community as we partner together and share together about God's kingdom. So thank you so much for your prayers, for your gifts, and thank you for watching today. I look forward to seeing you next time.